Hey everyone! Welcome to the Complete HTML course. In this course, you'll learn how to build a strong website foundation from the absolute basics to advanced concepts using only HTML. Even if you've never coded before, don't worry. This course will guide you step by step, starting with the fundamentals and progressing towards more complex HTML. We'll learn by doing, building real-world projects that will solidify your understanding of HTML. By the end of this course, we'll create a personal blog together, showcasing the power of HTML. I'm Destriegieta, and I'm passionate about helping you learn HTML. If you find these tutorials helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel for more coding adventures. And if you'd like to show your support, a virtual coffee would be greatly appreciated. Imagine you are embarking on a grand adventure to build your own website. This journey begins with a fundamental element of the web, HTML. HTML stands for a hypertext markup language. It's like a secret code that tells web browsers how to structure and display the information on a web page. Just like bricks are the building blocks of a house, HTML is the building block of websites. With HTML, you can create headings, paragraphs, images, and even links that connect you to other exciting corners of the web. It's like writing a story, but instead of words describing a world, you're using codes to create a world on the web. But before we start building our website, we'll need some essential tools. The first tool is a web browser, like Google Chrome, which is like a window that lets you see the websites you create. The second tool is a code editor, like Visual Studio Code. This is where you'll write your HTML code, like writing the instructions for building your website. In the next chapter, we'll dive deeper into HTML and start crafting the building blocks of your very own website. Are you ready to unleash your creativity and build something amazing? Now I assume that you have successfully installed Google Chrome and VS Code. We're ready to begin our lesson. To open VS Code, right-click on the VS Code icon on your desktop and select Open from the context menu. Once VS Code is open, you'll see the Welcome screen or the last workspace you were working on. You can close it by clicking on the X button in the top right corner. Let's create a new folder for our project. Click on File in the top menu bar, then select Open Folder. Navigate to your desktop. Right-click on an empty space on your desktop. Then select New Folder, and name the folder Complete HTML Course. Double-click on the Complete HTML Course folder. Right-click on an empty space within the Complete HTML Course folder. Select New Folder. Name this folder Basic HTML. Select this Basic HTML folder. This creates a well-structured folder hierarchy for our project, making it easier to organize our HTML files later on. Before start our first lesson, let's install some helpful extensions. Click on the extensions icon in the activity bar. Usually the fourth icon from the left, it looks like 4 squares. Type Prettier in the search bar. Select the Prettier Code Formatter extension by Espen P. Lund. Click Install. Prettier will automatically format your code according to best practices, making it easier to read and debug. Click on the extensions icon again. Type Live Server in the search bar. Select the Live Server extension by Ritvika. Click Install. Live Server will allow you to preview your HTML files in a web browser and automatically refresh the browser whenever you save changes to your code. With these extensions installed, we're ready to start coding. Let's create our first HTML file. Click the New File icon here. Then name the file html-page-structure.html and press Tab or Enter. Remember, all HTML files end with the .html extension. It's important to use lowercase letters for file names and avoid spaces. This improves compatibility across different operating systems and web servers. Some systems are case-sensitive, and spaces in file names can sometimes cause unexpected issues. You might have heard that the default file name for an HTML file is index.html. This is because when someone visits a website, the the web browser automatically looks for a file named index.html within the website's folder. However, it's perfectly fine to use different names for your HTML files, as long as you provide the correct file path when linking to them.
Let's start with the very first line in any HTML document. Doctype HTML. This might look a bit strange, but it's incredibly important. This line tells the web browser that the document you're presenting is an HTML5 document. Browsers use this information to understand how to render the page correctly. It helps ensure that the page is displayed consistently across different browsers and devices. By including doctype HTML, you're telling the browser that you're writing your code according to the latest HTML5 standards. Imagine you're writing a letter. You'd start with something like "Dear Recipient" to let the recipient know it's a letter. Similarly, doctype HTML tells the browser, "Hey, this is an HTML document. Please read and display it accordingly." Next, we have the HTML tag. HTML is the root element of the entire page. It encompasses all other elements within the document. Think of it as the container for everything. Just like a box holds various items, the HTML tag holds all the content of your web page. Within the HTML tag, we have two primary sections. First, we have the head section. This section, much like the blueprints for your house, contains crucial information that isn't directly visible to users, but it's absolutely essential for the browser and search engines to understand the page. Inside the head section, we find the meta tag. This is like the specifications for your house, outlining the materials used, special features, and even keywords to help people find your house if they're searching for a home with similar characteristics. It provides vital information about the page, such as the character set, a brief description for search engines, and keywords to help people find your page. Also within the head section, we have the title tag. This is like the nameplate on your mailbox, clearly displaying the name of your house. When you view the page in a web browser, the title defines that appears in the Browser tab, helping visitors easily identify your web page. For example, if we type "My First HTML Lesson" as the title, and then we go live using the live server extension that we installed earlier, this is what will appear in the Browser tab. Using a live server allows you to see the updated instantly after making changes to your code, providing immediate feedback and streamlining the development process. Now, we come to the most exciting part, the body section. This is where the real magic happens. This is where you'll find all the content that makes the web page a reality. This is where you'll place the text, the stories you want to share, the information you want to convey, the heart and soul of the web page. You'll add images to bring the web page to life, making it visually appealing and inviting. And of course, you'll include links, like doorways that connect you to other parts of the web page or even to other websites. The body section is where you create a space that is both functional and engaging, a place where visitors will want to explore and spend time. In the next chapter, we will discuss the content of the body section in more detail. So, there you have it, the foundation, the blueprint, and the living space. These three key components work together to create a complete and engaging web page. Hey! I have great news for you. There's a shortcut to quickly create this basic structure. Simply type ! and press Tab. VS Code will automatically generate the entire HTML structure, including the doctype HTML declaration, the HTML head, and body tags. This shortcut saves you time and helps you get started with your web page even faster. Now, let's break down the key elements of this basic structure. These elements form the foundation of every HTML document, so it's helpful to understand their purpose. The doctype HTML declaration tells the browser it's dealing with an HTML5 document. The HTML lang equals n tag is the root element of the document. The lang equals n attribute specifies that the primary language of the page is English. This helps search engines and assistive technologies understand the content. The head section contains meta information about the document. The meta charset equals UTF-8 specifies that the character encoding is UTF-8, allowing for a wide range of characters. The meta name equals viewport content equals width equals device width. Initial scale equals 1.0. Meta tag controls how the page is displayed on different devices, like smartphones and tablets. The title document /title sets the title that appears in the browser tab. The body section contains the visible content of the web page. This structure not only adheres to W3C standards, but also lays a strong foundation for building accessible web pages for all users, ensuring your web pages are compatible with various browsers and devices. Let's continue our next lesson. First, we create new file by clicking Add File icon, then name the file HTML, -tag, -elements, -attributes, .html. Then we create basic HTML page structure by pressing Shift plus exclamation mark button and press Tab button. We need to change the document title inside the title element. Let's change the text from document to My First Web Page. Then we close the File Explorer by pressing this Explorer icon here. Now we're ready to the next lesson. In this lesson, we will learn about basic HTML tags and elements. As you can see, all text on an HTML page is enclosed by angle brackets. These angle brackets are a crucial part of HTML, as they signify the presence of HTML tags. HTML tags are the fundamental elements of HTML used for defining the structure of the document. These are letters, or words enclosed by angle brackets. Less than, name of tag, and greater than. Usually, most of the HTML tags contain an opening and a closing tag. Each tag has a different meaning, and the browser reads the tags and displays the contents enclosed by them accordingly. This P/P is a paragraph tag. Represents a paragraph of text, used to structure text into readable blocks. Let's explore other tags. H1 to H6 tags represent headings of different levels, from most important to least important. H1 is the main heading. H2 is a subheading and so on, used to create a clear hierarchy within the content. When you enclose any text content within P and /P tags, you are creating a paragraph element in HTML. Similarly, if you enclose any text content within H1 and /H1 tags, it will become a level 1 heading element. An HTML element is a fundamental component of an HTML document that can contain data to display on the web page, such as text, image, link, or sometimes nothing. The structure of most HTML elements follows a consistent pattern. It begins with an opening tag, which signifies the start of that particular element. Within the opening tag, you'll find the content, which can include text, images, or even other HTML elements. Finally, the element is closed with a closing tag, which mirrors the opening tag, but includes a / before the tag name. However, there's a special category of HTML elements, known as empty or void elements. These elements, unlike elements like P, paragraph, or H1 heading, which have both opening and closing tags, do not require a closing tag. They are self-contained and represent a single, standalone entity within the HTML structure. Some common examples of empty elements include BR inserts a line break within the text. HR inserts a horizontal rule, a line across the page. IMG inserts an image into the page. Input creates an input control for user input, like text fields, checkboxes, radio buttons. Simply, HTML elements are created using the HTML tags. An HTML element is defined by a pair of starting and closing tags having content between them, which defines the content and structure of the web page. Whereas, HTML tags are like keywords and part of HTML elements enclosed in angle brackets. If you see the IMG tag, It's followed by src and alt. This src and alt known as attributes. src specifies the source of the image file. Alt provides alternative text for the image. These attributes provide crucial information about the image to the browser and enhance accessibility for users. Similarly, the input tag can have various attributes depending on the type of input. For example, input type equals text can have the name attribute to give the input field a name. Input type equals submit can have the value attribute to set the text displayed on the button. These attributes help define the behavior and appearance of the input fields, making them interactive and user-friendly. In summary, attributes are special words that provide additional information to an HTML element. Attributes are placed inside the element's opening tag, and they are used to configure or adjust the element's behavior. All attributes are made up of two parts, a name and a value. Let's build a single-page CV. We'll apply our knowledge of HTML tags, elements, and attributes to create a professional and informative online resume. This project will also introduce us to the importance of text content elements in effectively presenting our skills and experience. To start, let's create a new file. Click on the Explorer icon here, then click the Add File button. Name the file text-content-elements.html. Now, let's create the basic HTML structure for our page. Press Shift plus exclamation point on your keyboard, and then press Tab. This will automatically generate the basic HTML tags. Modify the title element in your HTML code to display single-page CV. This will change the title that appears in the Browser tab. Within the body element, place our element H1 and type your name within the element. Then, below the H1 element, add an H2 element and type your title within it. Let's preview our changes by opening the HTML file in a web browser. Right-click on your HTML file here and select Open with Live Server. To make it easier to see the results, let's position our browser and code editor side by side. Position your code editor and web browser windows on your screen so they are adjacent to each other. Placing your code editor and web browser side by side significantly enhances your workflow. You can instantly see the results of your code changes within the browser, making debugging quicker and improving your overall development speed. You can hide the file sidebar by clicking the Explorer icon in the top left corner of the Versus code. As you can see on the web browser, the text of your name within the H1 tag is significantly larger than the text of your title within the H2 tag. This reflects the intended hierarchy in HTML, where H1 is the highest level heading and H2 is the second. While this adheres to the standard, you might consider adjusting the font sizes using CSS to achieve a more visually appealing and balanced presentation while still maintaining the semantic meaning of the headings. If we continue this hierarchy with H3, H4, H5, and H6, then each containing the same text, the result shown on the browser clearly demonstrates that each level becomes less prominent. This structure helps readers understand the organization of your content and makes it easier to find the information they're looking for. Now, let's erase the H3 to H6 elements for now. We will then create a new element, H3, with the text skills. Below this, we create a paragraph element P and giving some text within. If your browser doesn't automatically reflect the changes you make in your code editor, you need to refresh the page to see the updated content. One way to do this is by clicking the Refresh or Reload button here. Let us create another paragraph element that includes your school name, location, degree, and one of your biggest achievements in school. Then, create a separate section below the paragraph element that displays the same information, but this time use the pre-tag. As observed in the browser, there is a distinct difference in the visual representation of text when using the paragraph P element compared to the preformatted text pre element. While it's possible to style both elements with CSS to achieve a similar appearance, the underlying behavior and intended use cases remain distinct. The P element is designed for flowing text, with the browser automatically adjusting line breaks and indentation for optimal readability. The pre element, on the other hand, is specifically designed to preserve the exact spacing and line breaks as written in the HTML code, which is crucial for displaying code, poetry, or other text where precise formatting is essential. Let's reconfigure the display to show the code editor and web browser side by side again and resume development on our website. If your code editor displays lines differently than mine, you can usually adjust this by navigating to the View menu and selecting an option like Word Wrap or press Alt+Z. I will create an Experience section using an H3 heading. Below the heading, I will include a paragraph P to describe my job title and company. Then, I will use an H5 tag to display the dates of my employment. Finally, I will create an OL tag or ordered list tag to outline my key responsibilities and achievements, with each responsibility listed as a separate using LI tag or list item tag. Following the Experience section, we can create a certification section using an H3 heading. An H5 subheading specifies the certification provider, freecodecamp.org. Here we'll use an UL or unordered list tag to present a list of certifications earned, with each certification listed as a separate list item, or LI tag. The order of certifications in this case may not be as crucial as the order of experiences. Congratulations! We have successfully created the basic structure of our single-page CV webpage. While the foundation is in place, it currently lacks the visual polish necessary to create a professional and engaging user experience. In the next phase, we will focus on applying formatting and styling techniques to improve its overall appearance. To begin, we'll create a copy of our existing HTML file. This will allow us to experiment with styling without affecting the original structure. To do this, we can right-click on the original HTML file, select Duplicate or Copy, and then paste the copied file into the same directory. We can then rename the copied file to format-and-style-tag.html to clearly distinguish it from the original. We're going to dive into a simple yet effective HTML tag, the HR tag. The HR tag, short for horizontal rule, is used to create a visual break or separator within your web page. Think of it as a line that divides content into distinct sections. As you can see, the HR tag simply inserts a horizontal line across the entire width of the page. It's a great way to improve readability by separating blocks of text, headings, or lists. Enhance visual appeal by adding a clean and organized look to your page. Guide the user's eye by drawing attention to specific sections. Okay, let's explore the BR tag, a simple yet powerful tool for controlling how your text appears on the page. The BR tag, short for line break, is used to insert a single line break within a block of text. Unlike the HR tag, which creates a horizontal rule, BR simply moves the following text to the next line. If you're observing the web browser, you'll notice a distinct format between the skills and education sections, as well as within the text enclosed by the pre-tag below. Interestingly, while pressing Tab or Enter between words within a paragraph element has no visible impact on the displayed text, if do the same action within a pre-element results in noticeable spacing between words, highlighting the unique behavior of these elements. If we observe that when we full screen the browser, the paragraph text expands to fill the entire width. To address this, we will adjust the paragraph formatting to maintain the same appearance as it has when the browser is in half-screen view. This will involve strategically inserting BR elements within the second paragraph to control line breaks and achieve the desired half-screen line view. As you can see, the BR tag forces a line break after the first sentence, effectively creating 2 lines of text within the same paragraph. Since the pre-element is not intended for the current purpose, we will replace it with a paragraph element. Subsequently, we will apply the same formatting to this paragraph as we did for the first education section. It's important to note that the BR tag itself does not introduce a line break in your code. The line break only occurs in the browser's display. However, to improve code readability, it's common practice to place the text that should appear on the next line below the BR tag, even though it doesn't affect how the code runs. Now let's dive into the exciting world of text formatting elements in HTML. These elements allow you to control the appearance and emphasis of your text, making your web pages more visually appealing and informative. Let's say I want to highlight the name of my university. I can use the B tag to make it bold. As you can see, the B tag effectively emphasizes the name of my university, making it stand out from the rest of the text. Now let's say I want to emphasize the graduated title at the university. I can use the M tag to make them appear in italics. Alternatively, I can also use an I element to give an italic effect to the text. While both tags result in italicized text, I is more suitable for text that is inherently italicized, such as foreign words, technical terms, or book titles. In addition to M, I, and the tags we've already discussed, HTML provides other formatting tags, each serving a specific purpose in presenting web content. Strong. This tag is used to strongly emphasize text, typically making it appear bolder. Mark. This tag highlights text, often with a background color, to draw attention to it. Del. This tag indicates deleted text, often displayed with a strike-through effect. Ins. This tag indicates inserted text, often displayed with an underline. There are several formatting tags that are not used as frequently, but it's good to be aware of them. These include code tag. This tag is used to display code or computer output. It often renders the text in a monospaced font. For example, code, def greet, name, print, hello, plus name plus exclamation point, /code, sub tag. This tag displays text as subscript, typically used for chemical formulas or mathematical expressions. For example, P. The formula for water is H sub 2 / sub O / P. Subtag. This tag displays text as superscript, often used for exponents or footnotes. For example, P. The area of a circle is calculated using the formula B pi r sub 2 / sup / B / P. It's important to note that the correct placement of the opening and closing tags is crucial for the proper rendering of the HTML. By understanding the purpose of each formatting tag and ensuring proper tag placement, we can effectively structure and present information on our web pages, enhancing readability and improving the overall user experience. When reviewing a document, pay close attention to the formatting of lists. For example, consider the following list: technical skills, soft skills, problem-solving skills. Notice that the colons are not aligned, and if the content of problem-solving skills is longer, it might also appear misaligned. We can improve the visual consistency of this list by using the and NBSP entity. The and NBSP entity represents a non-breaking space, unlike a regular space character, which allows the browser to break the line at that point, and NBSP forces the characters on either side to remain on the same line, even if it means extending the line beyond its normal container. However, if the existing space before the colon is too wide, using and NBSP might not be sufficient. In such cases, we can use the and EMSP entity, which creates a wider space. Conversely, if the initial spacing is too narrow, we can use a combination of and hairsp or and thinsp entities to achieve the desired alignment. This approach ensures consistent spacing before each colon, resulting in a more visually appealing and professional-looking list. Congratulations! You've mastered the basics of structuring your web pages with HTML. Now, let's add some flair to your creations. To introduce you to the basic concepts of CSS, let's explore how we can directly style elements within our HTML code itself. We can use the style attribute to apply basic styling directly to individual HTML elements. This will give us a hands-on experience with how we can control the appearance of our web pages. The style attribute allows us to add CSS properties directly to an HTML element. For example, we can change the color of text using the color property. We do this by adding the style attribute to the HTML tag and then, within the double quotes, specifying the property color and its value, blue, like this. Style equals color, blue. Let's apply this to our section title. To make our section title green, we need to change the color value to green. The code remains the same, except for the value within the style attribute. Remember that attributes, like style, must be placed within the opening tag of the element. Always include a space after the tag name before adding any attributes. I might paste some code here to save time, but the most effective way to learn is by typing it yourself. So, please try to type along with the code that I've provided. If you notice extra space between the name and job title, we can use the margin property within the style attribute to adjust the spacing between them. This technique can also be applied to other elements to fine-tune the spacing and layout of your web page. To remove the extra space, we can set the margin value to 0. As you can see, we just add property and value. If within the tag there is already a style attribute, we add more properties and values after a semicolon. But if there isn't, we must add the style attribute itself to the tag. We also can adjust the font size for the P element by giving it the following style. Font size, 18px. Font weight, bold. Remember to separate multiple style properties with a semicolon. This demonstrates how to apply multiple style properties to a single HTML element using the style attribute. By adjusting the font size and font weight, we can make the size and boldness of the P element similar to an H3 element. Higher px values generally result in larger text. If you're wondering what px means, it stands for pixels. Pixels are just one of the size standards we can use. We'll also explore other units like em and rem, and learn when to use each one most effectively as we dive deeper into CSS. Now, let's style the body element. We'll start by setting the width to 600 pixels, adding a solid 2-pixel border, and including 30 pixels of padding. For practice, let's try styling a single-page CV using the HTML and CSS concepts we've learned so far. You can use the style attribute within HTML elements to adjust font sizes and colors for different sections, like headings and skills. Add basic styling to elements like bolding for names and skills, and italicizing for job titles. Control spacing between elements using the margin property. Remember to experiment with different styles and see how they affect the overall look and feel of your CV. This exercise will help you solidify your understanding of inline styling and prepare you for more advanced CSS techniques in the upcoming lessons. Now I believe that you already have some experience formatting and styling your web page by practicing what we learned earlier. Here's how I formatted my page. If you'd like to style your page similarly, you can refer to the code here. Feel free to experiment with different styles and attributes to customize the look and feel of your own web page. Remember, HTML provides a wide range of elements and attributes to help you create unique and visually appealing web content. Now that we've explored the basics of HTML structure and styling, let's delve into adding interactive elements to your web pages. We'll start by learning how to create hyperlinks. These allow users to navigate to other web pages, documents, or specific sections within the same page. Let's begin with hyperlinks. But first, let's create a copy our code to new file. Select all the code in your current file. Use your mouse to drag and select all the code. Or, use the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+A for Windows and Linux or Command+A for Mac. Right-click and select Copy from the context menu. Or, use the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+C for Windows and Linux or Command+C for Mac. Click on the Explorer icon in the top right corner of your code editor. Click the Add New File icon. Name the file as link-image-icon.html. Right-click within the new file and select Paste from the context menu. Or, use the keyboard shortcut, Ctrl+V for Windows and Linux or Command+V for Mac. Open our copied code in the browser. Right-click on the link-image-icon.html file. Select Open with Live Server from the context menu. This will open the link-image-icon.html file in your default web browser, allowing you to view the code and see how it renders in real time. You can now close the browser window that was displaying your previous lesson's HTML code. Click the X button in the top right corner of the browser window to close it. Let's move on to creating hyperlinks. A hyperlink, also known as a link, is essentially a clickable word, phrase, or image that takes you to another web page or a specific location within the same page. In HTML, we use the A tag to create hyperlinks. This tag, short for anchor, is essential for linking different parts of the web together. Within the A tag, we use the ref attribute to specify the URL of the destination. This could be the address of another web page, a file on the same server, or even a specific location within the current page. Let's say we want to create a link to freecodecamp.org. We can achieve this using HTML code. First, we'll use the anchor tag, denoted by A. This tag creates a hyperlink in HTML. To define where the link should lead, we need the Uniform Resource Locator URL of the website. In this case, we want to link to freecodecamp.org. You can search for freecodecamp.org on a search engine and copy the URL from the search result. Once you have the URL, which should be https://www.freecodecamp.org, copy it. Then, paste the copied URL within the quotation marks of the ref attribute inside the opening A tag. The ref attribute specifies the destination of the hyperlink. The text you place between the opening and closing A tags will become the clickable part of the link. In our case, let's keep it as freecodecamp.org. Finally, place the closing anchor tag /A right before freecodecamp.org to complete the link element. Here's the final code that creates a link to freecodecamp.org. This code will display a heading, Level 3 heading due to the H3 tag, with clickable text freecodecamp.org that, when clicked, will take the user to the freecodecamp.org website. We can also link the university by the same way. Just like we created a link to freecodecamp.org, we can link to any website, including a university's website. The process is identical. Visit the university's website in your web browser. Copy the URL from the address bar at the top of your browser window. This URL will be specific to the university you want to link to. Now, let's turn our attention to internal links. These are hyperlinks that connect different pages or sections within the same website. Section links allow you to link directly to a specific part or section of a web page. For example, if you have a long article, you can create links that jump to the corresponding sections of the article. To create a section link, we use the ref attribute with a hashtag followed by the ID of the target section, such as H3, to give the section a unique identifier. In this case, we've given the H3 tag an ID of certificate. Then I create a link here like this. This creates a link that, when clicked, will smoothly scroll the page to the section with the ID certificate. By using section links, you enhance the user experience by making it easier for visitors to navigate and find the information they need within your web pages. Beyond linking to specific sections, internal links also connect you to other pages within your website. While section links help you navigate within a single page, internal links provide a broader way to explore your website's content. To demonstrate how internal links work, we'll create a new HTML file named about.html. This new page will contain information about yourself. We'll start by creating the basic HTML structure within the about.html file. Then add a heading tag h1 to provide a title for the page, such as About Me, and include a paragraph with some information about yourself. Now, let's go back to our main HTML file link-image-icon. Then we'll create an anchor tag to link to the about.html page. Within the ref attribute of the A tag, we'll specify the file name of the target page. Ref equals about.html. Inside the A tag, we'll provide the visible text for the link, such as About Me. This will create a clickable link on your main page. When clicked, we'll take the user to the about.html page. To fully grasp the concept of linking, let's examine the distinct functions of the A tag and the link tag. The A tag, short for anchor, is the primary tool for creating clickable links within your web pages. It allows users to navigate to other web pages, both within your website and externally. Jump to specific sections within the same page and even download files. The link tag doesn't create clickable links for users directly. Instead, it instructs the browser to load and use external resources, such as style sheets CSS, to define the visual appearance of your web page, such as colors, fonts, layout. JavaScript files to add interactivity and dynamic behavior to your web page, such as animations, form validation, and favicons, the small icons that appear in the browser tab. We will explore how to use the link tag to add favicons later in this session. By understanding the distinct roles of these tags, you can effectively structure and link the different elements of your web pages. In addition to linking to other pages and sections, you can also incorporate visual elements into your web pages using the img tag. The img tag is used to insert images into your HTML document. src attribute specifies the URL or path to the image file. Alt attribute provides an alternative text description for the image. This is crucial for accessibility or screen readers and SEO. Search engine optimization. For better organization and easier maintenance, it's highly recommended to create a separate folder to store your image files. For instance, you could create a folder named Images within your project directory. To create a folder for our images, you can do this by clicking on the File Explorer icon. Then, click the New Folder icon, which you'll typically find in the toolbar. This will create a new folder. Rename it to Images, and you're ready to organize your image files. To display the image, we'll use the src attribute within the img tag. This attribute tells the browser the location of the image file. Since I've already downloaded the necessary image files and moved them into the Images folder within our project directory for better organization, the src attribute will begin with images/ followed by the file name. In this example, my image file is named logo_unpad.jpg, so the complete code would be img src equals images/logo_unpad.jpg alt equals unpad logo. The src attribute tells the browser where to find the image. Here, images/unpad.jpg specifies that the image is located within a folder named Images within our project. The unpad.jpg portion of the path refers to the specific file name of the image we want to display. The placement of the img tag within the HTML structure significantly impacts how the image is displayed. When used alone, the img tag behaves as a block-level element. This means it starts on a new line and occupies the entire width available, much like a paragraph of text. However, when placed within other elements, such as a heading tag or a span element, the img tag is treated as an inline element. As an inline element, it flows within the text content, similar to how words or characters behave. This allows you to seamlessly integrate images within paragraphs or other text-based elements. For example, we can display my logo directly before to my name by placing the img tag within the same line with heading tag. Understanding these different behaviors is crucial for effectively positioning and styling images within your web pages. To position the logo below the education text and ensure it's displayed on its own line, we'll need to relocate the img tag. Currently, it's positioned before the paragraph. We'll cut the entire img tag, including the opening and closing tags, and then paste it after the closing br tag for the education text. Finally, we'll add a br tag after the img tag to create a clear separation between the logo and the subsequent paragraph. For smaller, more versatile visuals, Font Awesome is the way to go. This library provides scalable vector icons that maintain their sharpness at any size. As they're essentially characters within a font, they're lightweight and easy to style with CSS. Now, let's get those icons onto your page. There are two main ways to do this. The easiest is to use a Content Delivery Network CDN, which basically means you're borrowing the Font Awesome files from a reliable source with servers all over the world. This ensures fast loading times for your visitors. You just need to add a single line of code to your HTML's head section. To embark on our Font Awesome journey, we first open our trusty web browser and search for Font Awesome Library in the address bar. We find and click on this link. From here, we copy this URL. Next, we switch to our code editor and paste this copied URL inside the ref attribute of a link tag within the head section of our HTML document, making sure it's placed before the title tag. Now, we return to our browser and navigate to the official Font Awesome website at https://fontawesome.com. On the website, we click the Get Started or Start for Free button, then scroll down and click Explore Icons. We search for the desired icon, select it, and copy the provided code snippet. Finally, we switch back to our code editor and paste this icon code snippet into the appropriate location within our HTML document. Finally, we've successfully completed our link image and icon lesson. But our adventure doesn't stop here. I encourage you to keep practicing, experimenting with more link images and Font Awesome icons. Feel free to style your web page using the techniques we learned in previous lessons. To inspire you, I'd like to share my final result. If you'd like to see my approach and perhaps draw inspiration from it, you can take a look at my code here. Remember, the key to mastering web development lies in consistent practice and exploration. Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things, and most importantly, have fun. I'm confident that with continued effort, you'll create amazing things on the web. Now go forth and build. I'm excited to see what you create on your web page. To write cleaner and more maintainable code, let's learn how to add comments to your HTML documents. Comments are a powerful tool that helps you and other developers understand your code better. HTML comments are not displayed in the browser, but they can help document your HTML source code. You can add comments to your HTML source by using the following syntax. This is called an inline comment. Within these comment tags, you can add information about your code, such as explanations, reminders, or notes. For example, you can use comments to explain the purpose of certain HTML tags, such as of another text element example. However, if you move the closing comment tag to below this line of code, the comment will now encompass all three lines. This is called a multi-line comment. By using multi-line comments, you can effectively hide these lines of code from the browser, preventing them from being displayed or rendered on the web page. Now let's explore how to organize and present data effectively using HTML tables. Tables are a fundamental part of web development, allowing you to structure information in a clear and concise manner. To create a table, we'll begin with table tag. Within the table tag, we create a TR, it's short for table row tag. Inside this row, we use 3th, it's short for table header, tags, each defining a column header. These th tags are typically styled with bold or a larger font size. The text within each th tag will be company, contact, and country. This results in a table header row with 3 columns labeled accordingly. Following the table header row, which is defined by th tags, we begin adding rows of data. Each row is encapsulated within a tr tag. Inside each tr, we place td, it's short for table data. Tags, each holding a specific piece of information corresponding to the column header defined above, such as Nusantara Inda for the company, Destriegieta for the contact, and Indonesia for the country. This structure allows for the organized presentation of tabular data. To help you visualize how the table is constructed, I've included simple CSS to add borders to each cell. This will make it easier to see how the table, tr, th, and td tags interact to form the table's grid, improving your understanding of table structure. If I remove the CSS styling from the head section, the table will appear without any borders around the cells. This might make it slightly harder for you to visually distinguish the individual cells and rows. To expand the table, we employ a straightforward approach. Adding more th or td tags within a single tr will increase the number of columns, while adding more tr tags will increase the number of rows. Consistency is key. Each tr must contain the same number of td tags as there are th tags in the header row to maintain a well-defined table structure. Okay, let's name this table as horizontal table. Now, let's proceed to create a vertical table. To create a vertical table in HTML, we begin with the table tag. Within this tag, we use tr tags to define each row of the table. Inside each tr row, we use th tags for table header cells and td tags for regular table data cells. For the th tags in the vertical table, I will use the same content names as the column headers in the previous horizontal table. Similarly, I will use the same data content for the td tags. This consistency in labeling will significantly improve readability and make it easier for you to understand and compare the information presented in both tables. Just like the horizontal table, if we need to add more rows to our vertical table, we simply add more tr tags, each containing the appropriate th and td tags within. We can then copy and paste this basic table structure and modify the content within the th and td tags as needed for our specific data. To create more complex table layouts, we can employ the colspan and rowspan attributes. These attributes provide the ability to merge cells, allowing us to effectively group or summarize information within our table. To create a header that spans multiple columns in our horizontal table, we can add a new tr tag before the existing table data and place a th tag within it. This th tag will have the colspan attribute, where the number within the quotes specifies the number of columns the cell should span. Additionally, the rowspan attribute allows a single cell to span across multiple rows vertically. We can apply the same concept to a vertical table, but instead of colspan, we'll utilize the rowspan attribute within the th or td tags to merge cells vertically. We've now gained expertise in creating various tables, including more complex ones. I encourage you to continue practicing by creating even more intricate tables, perhaps inspired by examples you find in videos. Remember, learning provides a strong foundation, but consistent practice is key to mastering any skill. Now, let's explore another crucial HTML element, the form and input element. HTML forms are collections of interactive controls and various input types, such as text, numbers, email, password, radio buttons, checkboxes, buttons, etc., that collect user information. HTML forms are created by using the HTML form tag. All user input-related tags are placed inside the form tag. The form element has the following syntax, contains all necessary elements. You can place any input-related element inside it. For example, this tag is the container for all the elements that make up the form. It's like a box that holds all the form's components. Form elements. First input field. Label for equals fname. First name / label. This creates a visible label for the first name input field. The for equals fname attribute links this label to the input element with the ID fname. Input type equals text, ID equals fname, name equals fname, value equals John. This creates a text input field for the user to enter their first name. Type equals text. Specifies that this field is for entering plain text. ID equals fname. Gives this input field a unique ID, fname, for styling and scripting purposes. Name equals fname. This attribute is crucial. When the form is submitted, the data entered in this field will be sent to the server with the name fname. Value equals John. This attribute sets a default value for the input field. When the page loads, the field will initially display John. Second input field. Label for equals name. Last name / label creates a label for the last name input field. Input type equals text, ID equals name, name equals name, value equals doe, similar to the first input field, but for entering the last name. Submit button. Input type equals submit, value equals submit. This creates a button that, when clicked, triggers the submission of the form data. The value equals submit attribute sets the text that appears on the button. There is another example. This code creates a set of radio buttons for selecting a favorite programming language. Input type equals radio. This tag defines a radio button, which allows the user to select only one option from a group. ID equals HTML. Assigns a unique ID to the first radio button HTML. This ID is used by the for attribute in the corresponding label. Name equals fav_language. This attribute groups these radio buttons together. Only one radio button within this group can be selected at a time. Value equals HTML. This attribute specifies the value that will be submitted to the server if this particular radio button is selected. Label for equals HTML. HTML / label creates a label for the HTML radio button. The for equals HTML attribute links this label to the radio button with the matching ID. Similar structure. The subsequent lines of code create identical sets of radio buttons and labels for CSS and JavaScript. Submit button. Input type equals submit, value equals submit. This creates a button that, when clicked, triggers the submission of the form data. The value equals submit attribute sets the text that appears on the button. In essence, this code snippet presents the user with three options: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The user can select only one of these options as their favorite language. This is a common way to create a set of mutually exclusive options in an HTML form. While this example demonstrates the use of checkboxes in HTML, input type equals checkbox. This defines the element as a checkbox, allowing users to select multiple options from a list. ID attribute assigns a unique identifier to each checkbox, e.g., Vehicle 1, Vehicle 2, Vehicle 3. This ID is used by the corresponding label to link the label text to the checkbox. Name attribute. In this example, all checkboxes have the same name attribute Vehicle 1, Vehicle 2, Vehicle 3. This is generally not recommended, as it can lead to unexpected behavior when submitting the form data. To correctly handle multiple checkboxes, it's best to use the same name attribute for all checkboxes within a group. Value attribute. specifies the value that will be submitted to the server if the checkbox is checked. Label tag creates a visible label for each checkbox, improving user experience and accessibility. The for attribute in the label links it to the corresponding checkbox's ID. And this example shows how forms are used in a real-world context. Form tag action equals /send_email.php. This attribute specifies that the form data will be sent to the /send_email.php script on the server for processing. Method equals post. This attribute indicates that the form data will be sent to the server using the HTTP post method. This is generally more secure than the get method, especially for sensitive information. Form elements. Label creates labels for each input field, making the form more user-friendly and accessible. The for attribute links each label to its corresponding input field by its ID. Input creates input fields for different types of data. Type equals text, for entering text, such as the user's name and the email subject. Type equals email, specifically designed for entering email addresses. This input type often provides built-in validation to ensure the entered value is a valid email format. Required. This attribute makes the name and email fields mandatory. The user must enter values in these fields before the form can be submitted. Text area creates a multi-line text area for entering the message content. The rows and calls attributes control the initial dimensions of the text area. Input type equals submit. This creates a button that, when clicked, triggers the form submission. The value equals send email attribute sets the text that appears on the button. In essence, this code defines a simple contact form with fields for name, user's full name required. Email, user's email address required. Subject, subject of the email. Message, user's message content. When the user fills in the form and clicks the Send Email button, the form data, name, email, subject, and message will be sent to the /send_email.php script on the server for further processing, such as sending the email to the recipient. We've now covered the fundamentals of tables, forms, and input elements. These foundational concepts are crucial for web development, equipping you with the skills to build dynamic and user-friendly web pages and laying the groundwork for creating more complex and interactive web applications. Building upon our knowledge of tables, forms, and input elements, our final lesson will introduce semantic HTML.